I wanted to do another video about PIDs and MUDs. I'm going to throw in PUDs and HOAs. These are some things you're going to want to understand. I did a video about MUD taxes and disabled veterans. We're going to go over some of that again today. I have some friends that live in a couple HOAs that I'm going to mention about some special assessments you pay when you sell. But first, let's start and talk about what is a MUD. It's a municipal utility district. It it's basically bond financing because the developer wants to be reimbursed for all the infrastructure they put in, roads, sewers, all the other. It may be a park they build in the neighborhood. It could be recreation facilities, but basically it's a bond and it's issued to reimburse them. There may be user fees that you have to pay. Say maybe there's a lake or things like that, and you have to pay user fees for that. I know that there's some in Princeton where those are added, and this is common in a lot of new developments, especially all over. It used to be just Denton County. Collin County is infamous for it, especially McKinney, Prosper. Just about everyone north of 380 has a MUD or a PID. And the MUD tax rates vary, but what I typically see is about 1% of the assessed value of the home. So say that you buy a home, every year the Central Appraisal District appraises the value for taxes. So let's say you have a $500,000 home and your MUD tax is 1%. That's an additional $5,000 a year on top of your other property taxes, HOA dues, etc. So that's something to keep in mind. That could be a deal killer for you. And it can be used for a lot of things. It can be used for irrigation, electric generation, firefighting, solid waste, garbage disposal. And you can see this on CAD. Now I'm going to talk about a couple subdivisions, or actually big developments, that have MUD taxes, and also their HOA has a 1% fee that you pay when you sell your home. Castle Hills is one, Trinity Falls and McKinney is another. Those are the two biggest ones that I'm aware of. I know there's others out there. But when you're buying in a MUD, it's the listing agent's responsibility to provide that notice of special assessment or special taxing district to you. You don't get that before you sign the contract or before closing, and you get surprised at closing, you may want to give an attorney a call, but that's something to talk about. Now, the med taxes sometimes are collected by the county, typically not. It's another party, so you get a separate bill for your med tax other than just, and then you get your other taxes, schools, county, city. If you have a public hospital, that comes from the city. Now, let's talk about this when it comes to MUD. Disabled veterans, homestead exemptions over 65 may not apply. It has to be disclosed on the MUD documents. This is a case where you may pay the 1% that's typical. It can vary, but you could pay that on the HOA assessed value of your home. So if your home's assessed at $500,000, again, like I say, that's $5,000. Even if you're a senior, if you're a disabled veteran, there's probably no exemption on that or reduction. The next thing we're talking about is a PUD. It's a planned unit development, and that's typically just about all subdivisions being built now. You see a lot of mixed use developments now, like Collin Creek Mall is a good example one. Used to be a mall, now they're building single family, multifamily apartments, duplexes, and they're going to have 20-story buildings, which are going to be, I'm not sure if they're going to be rentals, but they're going to have retail and restaurants in the bottom. And you see that all over McKinney, Prosper. You see a lot of that even in Plano, overall Plano Parkway. I've seen some mixed use there, and that's what they use a PUD for, to get around traditional zoning rules. That the PUD tells the developer, sets the rules for what type of properties will be in there, how much percentage of commercial, residential, how much green space, all that. Now there's another, this is an assessment, it's called a PID, Property Improvement District. And there's some in older parts of Dallas. It's not just new developments. Lake Highlands, Oak Lawn, Cedar Springs, they have one in Uptown. And what's the purpose of a PID? Well, it's an assessment based on the property. Now, most of the time when you buy a new home, it's a period of 30 years. You can choose to pay it off early. However, unless you're going to live there forever, it's not a good idea. Sometimes we give a discount. But most people stay in their home 7 years, so I wouldn't advise you to pay off that PID. And that is used for improvements. It's kind of like a MUD, but not exactly. You can do maintenance improvements with it. Maybe they take care of some things, but there's typically it doesn't cover sewer, but it does cover some infrastructure. And with the PID, that notice has to be provided to you before you write a contract. And again, you're going to want to talk to an attorney, but it'll give you an option to exit, get all your money back on a new build. But again, this isn't legal advice. You need to talk to your attorney about that. Now let's talk about things HOAs can do. So I have a friend in Trinity Falls. He recently told me the HOA just added $100 a month for water and sewer fees. They're in a MUD, and they already have to pay the extra 1%. Now they have a water fee, and they have the 1% exit fee when they sell their home. So this is why you don't want to go to a new development. Many of these things won't be disclosed to you. It's why you want an agent to work with you. I went through this kind of quickly. If you have any questions, I want you to reach out to me. Happy to talk to you. If you're working with an agent, make sure you talk to their agent. Ask them to stay on top of that. That is their duty to you. That's their fiduciary duty. If you're not working with someone, have questions about anything real estate related, happy to speak with you. All my contact information is at the end of this video. See you next time.